This first news story comes from IGN. It loaded the page funny, so it didn't say IGN at the top of the page, and I was like frantically looking for a logo. I'm like, who is this from? It's from IGN. This one's written by Wesley Yinpool. Nintendo still has Metroid Prime 4 down as a Switch game. Nintendo has outlined upcoming Nintendo Switch exclusives, and it still lists the long-absent Metroid Prime 4 as a Switch game. As part of its latest financial report, Nintendo listed all the upcoming and announced games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Notably, the list includes Metroid Prime 4, which still carries a temporary title and to-be-announced release date. Here's the list in full. Detective Pikachu Returns, coming October 6th. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, October 20th. WarioWare Move It, November 3rd. Man, this is going to be such a good fall for my Switch.
Wait.
Super Mario RPG, coming November 17th. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, coming 2024. Princess Peach will star as a main character in a brand new game, 2024. Metroid Prime 4, to be announced. Metroid Prime 4 has suffered a tumultuous development since it was announced 6 years ago in 2017. Development was restarted in 2019 with the help of Retro Studios, a developer of the original Metroid Prime games. At the time, Nintendo said it took the decision because the fourth entry has not reached the standards we seek in a sequel to the Metroid Prime series. While not confirmed by Nintendo, Eurogamer reported Metroid Prime 4 was being developed by Bandai Namco Studios Singapore. Nintendo has been silent on Metroid Prime 4 ever since, leading some to speculate the game was either in development hell or its Switch focus to launch on the Switch's next-gen successor, rumored to launch late in 2024. Metroid Prime 4 failed to show up during June's Nintendo Direct, but given Nintendo itself still lists the game as a Switch title, perhaps the company plans to reveal it later in 2023 as its final Nintendo Switch game and a next-gen console launch title, much like Breath of the Wild was the last Wii U game from Nintendo, as well as a Switch launch title. I didn't read that last bit before the show, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think they're onto something with it being a crossover title.
Absolutely.
Metroid.
100%.
So I know historically, Metroid apparently doesn't do good sales-wise for whatever reason. Like, that's what they always say. I always hear. But I don't know. Like, I think with like Metroid Dread being a much more approachable Metroid game that came out and was incredible on the Switch, getting the Prime remaster, like there's definitely a renaissance right now with Prime, and I could totally see them being like, hey, you loved Dread, you love Prime remaster. Well, I'll tune into Prime. You haven't played 2 or 3 yet, but here's number 4. Coming. That's my only hang up with it being anytime soon. It seems wild for them to give you number 1 and then jump to like number 4 and not give you anything in between there. But I don't know. Do you, Adrian, you're the expert here. Do you actually think this is coming out on Switch? Like, or is this just them? Is this wishful thinking on their part?
My reading on it is because we haven't seen anything of it in so long, and it's listed as TBA at this point. Like, if they were really adamant about this coming out, I think they would have at least put 2024 so they can get it out before the next hardware comes out. That's what makes me think maybe we'll get like a direct. I don't know. Let's put it like this, right? They normally have directs in September, as well as like February, and other times throughout the year. If we get another general direct, which is normally like the last big direct for the year, and we don't hear anything about Metroid Prime 4, not even like concept art or development is still going smoothly for Metroid Prime on Nintendo Switch, then at that point I would consider it a next gen game. I would consider it a launch game, or like you said, a cross gen. In my book at this point, if I'm running the show, because it's already so late at this point, I would hold it back, have it be a launch game for the new hardware, and have it be a crossover game. Basically, I would Twilight Princess it, right? I would have it for both. So there's no situation right now where, if we haven't heard anything in the last 6 years and we haven't seen anything, hide nor hair of it, concept art, trailers, anything, I don't know where they're getting this idea that it's going to continue to be a Switch only game when we're so close to new hardware. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right that if we don't hear anything basically by the end of this year, like either in a direct or even I could also see it because it's such a hype game being like a Game Awards type thing. You know, Jeff Keighley showing it off like like in December, buzzer beater, you know, jumping in there and showing like people would lose their minds. Cause I think, yeah, like, cause we are going to get at least one more direct probably by the end of the year. And if it's not there, I think a lot of people could lose hope. And like, imagine showing up at game, like everyone's lost hope. Everyone's like, oh, it's done for. And then all of a sudden, like, Jeff Keighley comes out and he's like, haha, you've all been waiting for it. Here's Metroid Prime 4.
I think they play it that way either way though, right? Because even if you do it in December, it's not going to release in December. It'll probably release in whatever time frame the new Switch comes
April,
out. Yeah,
something like that, or even later. Yeah, if it's coming out alongside the Switch, you're right. Probably more.
I don't think that they're wrong in saying that this is a Nintendo Switch title still, because it definitely will be. Yeah. I think the error is not considering it a cross-gen title, because it's just a bad business move when you have hardware coming out, when you can have a marquee title like this to not launch on it. Because also it'll suffer in sales too, because people aren't going to be buying this game in anticipation of, well, I gotta save up, I gotta get the new hardware, I gotta, you know, I can't buy X, Y, and Z game anymore. So that also hurts your software sales now. It's a whole can of worms if you do it that way. But if you put it on both, people will still get it. So
real quick, I'm supposed to ask you, Chizo from the chat. He asked a very important question. Adrian, why is Zero Mission and Super Metroid your favorite Metroid games?
Zero Mission, I don't necessarily consider my favorite. Super Metroid, absolutely. Super Metroid, there's a long list of reasons I consider that game a masterpiece. It also holds a lot of sentimental value in for me. I am definitely realistic, and I have no problem saying that Metroid Dread is definitely the best Metroid game in the series.
Yeah, Metroid, that's the correct term.
Yeah, by far. But Super Metroid is my favorite game. I like. We even did a Super Gamer Book Club, of course, you already know that, about the Super Nintendo Holy Trinity of all games that I consider masterpieces, which is Super Metroid, Super Mario World, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I don't know, I just think that game perfects the exploration and isolation that Metroid is known for. The soundtrack is phenomenal, the sound effects, a lot of things that we take for granted. You know, that game kind of almost solidified I don't really care for the term, but the Metroidvania kind of games. This is like the blueprint for that. So a lot of games that we play nowadays, even to this day, have a lot to owe that game, and a lot of those games from back then. But yeah, that's why it's my favorite game of all time. I don't know. I could go on for a long time, but if you really want like the deep down thoughts, like I said, the book club just came out, so you can also check that out too. I know it kind of sounds weird, like us hawking our stuff, but like, I mean, that's where I just get to go crazy talking about it. So
go do it. Also, Chizo's response is, Adrian's a real one, for real, for real. Holy shit! Never wanted to take a man out to dinner more than this moment. So
if you ever up here in the Bay, hit me up.
No, Adrian, you got to come back down here, and then both of us can go up and hang out with Chizo, man.
I'm not opposed to that either.
That's how it's got to go. You got to come back down here. Yes, I think it only makes sense for this to be a crossover title, and I guess it also comes down to like, how much do we believe those rumors about the new Switch console? You know, like, is that
it's too much smoke? It's too much smoke for it to be nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it just happening that soon because it just like I know what what was that, like a month or two ago we did an article where Nintendo came out and said like no plans, like we don't have any plans for a new console. Like they're just
this
like
year they said they don't have any plans for 2023. They never said anything about 2024.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
that's
I feel like if we don't hear anything at this point, this will probably be the longest gap between consoles Nintendo's ever had, which is a little crazy.
Yeah. So it makes sense. Like it's not. It makes sense for something to come out next year. It just
It all adds up. And I that VGC report that came out, what was it, last week? I 100% believe that there are studios that have dev kits. There's no way they don't.
I mean, if it's coming out next year, they have to.
Right.
Yeah.
But even if it's not coming out this year, you still want to give dev kits so that people can like dial stuff in and nail it in and making sure that it's running the best that it can so you can show off the hardware in its best capacity, right? So, you know, your biggest and best, most trusted studios get the dev kits the most early. So I 100% believe that.
Like Retro
for sure has one. What's the studio that, it just left my mind, that did Dread in Spain?
I know you're talking about. I can't think into what they're called either, but
also real talk, since we're on Metroid, they since they've done Dread, I would 100%. You got it?
Mercury Steam,
thank you. Since Dread has come out, and it is also, I also consider that a masterpiece, I would have 100% faith in them doing a Super Metroid remake. I don't think that's what they're gonna do because they left Dread in a cliffhanger, but if anybody was to do a Super Metroid remake, I would 100% pick them. I would be totally fine with them doing it. So
wow. Super Metroid remake. So you said like a similar to like a Dread art style, basically. You're talking?
It doesn't have to be a Dread art style. I mean, it could be that engine. You know,
okay.
They're definitely gonna put it in 3D. But yeah, based on their work that they've done with Dread, if for some reason Nintendo wanted to do it, since they're on a roll remaking stuff lately.
If they did it in like the 2.5D style, so it's still 2D, but like
where
in the 3D background and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
it feels and runs like Dread
Traveler kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that would be really cool.
I'm all for it.
That would be awesome. Like it's basically the same game, just like with the updated 2.5D style. That'd be killer. It'd just be fun. Like it would I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily change anything, but it would just look so good.
Eddie in the chat said, I don't know if I'd want a Super Metroid remake. I don't know if I want one either, but I'm just saying, in the eventuality that it does get made, I trust Mercury Steam the most to do a good job on it based on their track record with not only the Metroid Dread, but the one they did on Return of Samus. The remake of that one for 3DS was also very good. So
they did that as well.
They've proven their worth.
Okay. Dang. Sweet. Cool. You got anything else to add then to this Metroid Prime news?
We went forever on it. We can move on.
Yeah. I mean, I do just want to say I'm so excited for WarioWare Move It. That game's gonna be so good.
I can't wait.
Just a couple more months and we get to move it, baby.
Oh man.
It better have multiplayer.
It is.
That was the issue with the other WarioWare that came out like a couple years ago, is it only had local multiplayer, right? It didn't have online stuff because we tried to stream it one time and we're like, oh, we can't. It doesn't have online multiplayer.
That's
so
right.
this better have online multiplayer so we can play some wacky mini games on stream together.
I want to play that one where you're like having to shake up the soda so bad. The one where you like have to take your controller and shake like this to shake up that one looks so fun. I can't wait.
Jesus says rollback netcode. Yes, 100%.
WarioWare.
Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.